Hi, thanks for joining me on another episode of Simply Saturday. My name is Julie, and you have found me here on my YouTube channel, Stamp with Julie Baum. Today we'll be making another card that is quick and easy to make. We will be using the Party Puffins stamp set. If you're watching some of my other videos, you might have seen my recent Stamp and Bingo night where we did a card that looks similar to this. And for the main image and the words, we used the Way to Goat stamp set, which has been so popular that it is now sold out. So at the end of this video, I will put in the description the products that I'm using, as well as the current host code, which is good through the end of April 2022. All right, so we're going to use for our card today a stamp or a card base in Pool Party. So this is 8.5 by 5.5, and I've already pre-scored it down the center at 4 1/4. This is a very typical card base size. So I'll be doing that first, giving that a good crisp fold. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in about 1 inch from the edge on the front piece of the card base, and I'm just going to tear it. So I'm going to tear it all the way down the front, and I do like to do little bites like you can see that I'm doing instead of like one big tear. I like the look that it gives this torn edge. Just makes it a little bit chunkier. So, and also by tearing it slowly, you have a little bit more control. So I've torn off the front of my Pool Party cardstock. Now I'm going to be attaching some designer series paper. Let me just bring in, I sketched out a quick note sheet of the pieces that you're going to need. This piece, I've already told you the dimensions of it. You're also going to need one white rectangle out of cardstock that's approximately 2 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. Or if it's fast for you to grab your dies, I am using a rectangle die from Stitched So Sweetly, and it does measure about 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. So I am going to use that, but you can just cut a plain rectangle if you're going for the ultimate speed. Then you'll need a piece of white cardstock for stamping your words or your greeting. This piece is 3/4 inch by 2 3/4. I've got a piece of Granny Apple Green. You will be choosing your colors based on your designer series paper. So I'm pulling my colors from what matches my DSP. This piece is 1 inch by 3 1/8. Then you'll need that DSP that I mentioned. So I'm using some paper from Pattern Party. This is currently a host gift that can be purchased when you have a workshop that's $150 or more. You can purchase this wonderful set of paper. I love it. All of the backs are different black and white prints, and all of the fronts are bright, fun cherry prints. This is from Pattern Party. So this piece, or your main piece of designer series paper, part number 1, needs to be 3 inches by 5 1/4. Then you'll need a DSP number 2. So this is going to coordinate. And this piece is 1 inch by 5 1/4. And then the last thing you'll need, if you want to put a piece on the inside of your card, and you don't have to if you're using a light enough cardstock color, but if you like the look of a white piece on the inside, which I do, you'll need a piece that is also 3 inches by 5 1/4. All right, so those are all your parts. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this first piece of designer series paper onto the front of my card. So I'm using liquid adhesive. And this is going to come into play here in just a second. I'm going to go ahead and put this on the front of my card. So there's Pool Party in this designer series paper, and so that's why I chose Pool Party as my card base. Again, you just want your colors to coordinate. The example that was in the first frame that is similar, this one was done on Petal Pink, which is also in the designer series paper. All right, then I'm going to take the DSP number 2, your strip that is 1 inch by 5 1/4. This one is going to get attached to the inside of the card, but it peeks out a little bit right where you made that torn edge. All right, this is going to go here. Like so. And then here in just a moment, we'll be putting the white panel on the inside. All right, now we need to stamp our main image, which is going to be this little puffin with the party hat on. This particular stamp is, because of all the black on the puffin's body, it can be a little bit, I don't know, like a little bit tricky to stamp and get a good image. And so for that reason, I am using my Stamparatus with the stamp. If you are not able to use your Stamparatus and do it quickly and easily, like our Simply Saturday cards, then just mount your stamp on a D block and go ahead and stamp it that way. But I've got my rectangle that I cut from Stitched So Sweetly. I've got it with my magnets placed into my Stamparatus, and here is my puffin stamp. So now what I'm able to do is ink my stamp up. I'm just gonna stick an ink pad under there. So now what I'm able to do is ink this up, stamp it on here, and if it's not as solid and black and bold as I want it, I can restamp it a second time easily. So that's the beauty of the Stamparatus, among many other benefits. There's lots of things you can do with a Stamparatus, but this is one. So that is fine. I could be satisfied with it, but I really want that black part of his body darker. I want it bolder. So I'm going to re-ink the same stamp, and then the way the Stamparatus works is it allows the stamp to go down in exactly the same space, which you would not be able to do if you had it mounted on a block. You might get close, but it's always going to look a little smeary. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I could do it a third time if I wanted to even get this little area darker, but I'm super happy with it, and so I'm going to move on. So I'm going to pull my magnets away from each other. You don't want them to get near each other. And here is our stamped piece. Let me get this out of the way. Okay. Now we're going to do some coloring. Oh, and I did mention, that's why I wanted to show you this. This was stamped with just the stamp mounted on a block, and I wasn't able to get as clear and dark and crisp of an image. So now you can see the difference and the benefit of using the Stamparatus. Okay, so I'm just going to grab some Stampin Blends and do some coloring. Again, I'm using colors that are part of my designer series paper, so that's easy when you're picking what colors to use. I have Flirty Flamingo, and I'm going to use dark and color the feet. And then I'm going to also use Flirty Flamingo for the very tip of his, is it a nose or is it a beak? I will grab the light Granny Apple Green for this second stripe. And I don't think that these are traditional puffin colors at all, but they are cheerful and they totally go with the paper. So I think that's all that matters. Then I'll use Pool Party for the party hat. And I'm just going to leave my polka dots white. You could use another color at this point to fill in the polka dots if you wanted. Although, I don't know, I kind of want to go back to Flirty Flamingo. So I'm going to take Flirty Flamingo in the light this time and fill those in and see if I like them. Yeah, I kind of do. All right, so that was the Flirty Flamingo dark. This is the Flirty Flamingo light. I like how it looks. And then back with my Granny Apple Green, the light for the little pom-pom. All right, so just a little bit of quick coloring there. Okay, this is going to go onto my card with some dimensionals. I have a newer pack. Where did they go? Here we go. All right, so I'm going to put 4 dimensionals onto the back of this. and we'll get it attached to the card. With this card design, as with so many others, you could use a lot of different stamp sets for this. Like I mentioned, we used Way to Goat, which was super cute. You could use the chickens, one of the party chickens, Hey Birthday Chick would be cute on here. Lots of different things. Okay, now I'm going to stamp my words. I'm going to use Happy Birthday. So I have that little scrap of white and my black ink pad. So I'm going to stamp it a little bit to the left side so that I can put a banner end on this side. And there are two ways you can do that. You can simply do it with the tip of your scissors, make a snip, and then go from corner to the part that you snipped, or you can grab your triple banner punch. That's not the right name. Pick a banner punch. Now I feel like I'm doing a tongue twister. So I'm going to stick this into my punch. I'm going to flip it over so I can see what I'm doing, like this. And I'm just going to take a bite out of it, and that gives me the look that I'm hoping for. And then I'll take that Granny Apple green piece. This is your cardstock, whatever you're using to coordinate with your card, and put it into the same punch as well. This is 1 inch, which is the widest that this punch will take. So I got to kind of coax it in there. There we go. And that as well. So we can attach these. And we've got our words. We'll put those onto the front of the card next. I like using my liquid glue because I have a little bit of time to wiggle this around, get it right where I want it, make sure it's somewhat straight. And then I am going to press on the back, as you see me do often, just to make sure I don't smear something or get oils from my fingers on that crisp white cardstock. All right, there we have our words, and this is going to get tucked in. You could go straight, you can go at an angle. You could kind of choose where to put this. I'm going to put it down here at an angle. I want to make sure that this banner end doesn't stick out past the edge of the card, so I'm just going to push it in a little like that. Again, whatever adhesive you like for this, I'm going to grab a little bit of tear and tape. And just put it on this edge, because this edge is going to hang over the opening of the card. You don't want to seal it shut. So be careful that you don't put adhesive on the whole thing. All right, and again, I'm just going to kind of slide this in and see where I want it to go. How about that? Okay, so the front is nearly done. I do have a very long piece of white baker's twine, maybe like 25 inches or so. So what I'm going to do is tie it onto the front of my card in a bow. All right, and I am going for speed here, so I'm just going to go ahead and tie it the best that I can get it. I feel like my penguin is crooked now that I'm putting this on. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take a chance of lifting those 2 corner dimensionals off. Yep. Ooh, I'm going to have to pull 3 of them up and readjust. Ooh, I think that's better. Were you already noticing that it was crooked? I didn't really notice until I went to put the twine on. Okay, at this point, we're going to leave it. So as I was mentioning, I'm going to go ahead for the sake of speed and just tie my bow on here the best that it can be. But one trick that is very helpful is at this stage, you can take a glue dot with your, take your pick tool. I just grabbed an old one and stick a glue dot right under here, and that will hold it while you tie your bow. Okay, that would be super helpful. But again, for time, I'm just going to tie the bow because you get the idea. I'll tie it as tight as I can and we'll see what happens. After you see me try 3 times, you're going to be like, yep, you probably should have just used a glue dot, right? Okay, so it's super big. Let's pull that down to a somewhat normal size. And then you can just kind of adjust where it needs to sit. All right, that worked just fine. Trimming off those tails. All right, at this point, you can be like, whew, I'm done. Just a couple minutes and it's a super cute card. Or if you want to add the inside panel, it will only take another moment. What I'm gonna do on the inside is add Make a Wish. And also the cake stamp from the same set, leaving room still to sign the card or put a short message. And even at this point, you can determine if you think it needs a little bit of color or not. Again, we're going for fast and easy, but sometimes just adding a teeny bit of coloring or an embellishment or two doesn't really take all that much time. So I'm adding some Pool Party and some Flirty Flamingo. I'm not going for an all-out wow card. We're going for fast and easy. So aside from that, I think I'll grab my green for the candles and we're gonna call it good. If you're just dying to put yellow flames, then of course you could do that. Grab a Daffodil Delight or a So Saffron marker and color in the flames. All right, here's our white panel for the inside. Again, on Pool Party, you don't even have to put the white panel if you don't want it. I'm gonna show you that petal pink one. I'll pull that back into view here in a moment. I did not add a white panel on that one. I still stamped a greeting on the inside, but I didn't do it on a white panel. So there we have it. There is our torn edge happy birthday card with the Party Puffins. And here is the one on petal pink. Super similar. Here's the inside. All right, so if you don't want to take the step to add the extra panel on the inside, you can still stamp on it and it's very cute, very beautiful. So there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would invite you to do that. It helps me so much, and I truly love getting comments from you. So if you enjoyed this card tutorial, if you were inspired and you wanted to change it and do something different, I'd love to know about that as well. And mostly, I just appreciate your support. Thank you so much, and see you next time.